Folk clung to the riverbank as officers surrounded the veteran. Canine attack, the sergeant barked. The German shepherd lunged, not at the old man, but between him and the guns, tail stiff, teeth bared, not at the stranger, at his own handlers. Loyalty had just broken protocol. Before we rewind to how this happened, hit subscribe and drop your country below. I read every comment. Now, let's go back to sunrise, when one dog's memory changed everything. Dawn painted the pier in shades of pearl and slate as Henry settled onto his weathered bench, the one overlooking the slow-moving river where memories felt lighter. At 79, his mornings followed ritual, thermos of black coffee, hands folded over knees stiffened by decades of service, eyes tracing ripples no one else noticed. He wore a faded olive jacket, 2 sizes too large, its frayed cuffs hiding scars earned in places maps no longer named. The world rushed past behind him, cars, commerce, lives unfolding. But here, time softened its edges. Then came the quiet padding of paws on wet wood. A shadow emerged from the mist, a German shepherd, powerful shoulders moving with military precision, eyes holding a gravity that stopped Henry's breath. No collar, no frantic handler shouting in the distance. Just the dog sitting calmly beside him, as if guided by a compass only he could read. 3 miles away, a police radio crackled to life. Missing Canine Titan, last seen near Oak Ridge Pier. Approach with extreme caution. Dog may be disoriented. Sirens sliced the quiet. Boots pounded against wooden planks as officers fanned out in a tense semicircle. Henry didn't hear them at first. He was too focused on the gentle pressure of the dog's head resting against his knee, a warmth he hadn't felt in years. But the shepherd stiffened instantly. Ears swiveled toward the approaching threat. "Sir, step away from the animal now," a young deputy shouted, hand hovering near his holster. Henry turned slowly, confusion softening his weathered face. "He's just keeping me company," he murmured, voice worn smooth by time. But Titan didn't retreat. Didn't whine. He shifted his weight deliberately, planting himself squarely between Henry's frail frame and the advancing uniforms. The supervising sergeant, a woman with a reputation for iron discipline, studied the scene with narrowed eyes. This wasn't evasion. This was protection. "That's Canine Titan," she hissed to her handler. "Highly trained tactical unit. He should be engaging the stranger, not shielding him." She barked sharp commands: heel, release, disengage. Titan's only response was a low, vibrating hum deep in his chest. Not a growl of aggression, a warning. Henry finally sensed the tension thickening the air like gathering storm. He raised trembling hands, palms open toward the officers. "I don't understand what's happening," he whispered, voice barely carrying over the river's whisper. The dog pressed closer, absorbing the veteran's uncertainty into his own steady presence, as if shielding him from more than just weapons. The sergeant's patience snapped. She stepped forward, voice cutting through the morning haze like shattered glass. "Canine attack. Engage now." Every officer braced for the blur of muscle and teeth launching toward the old man, but Titan didn't move toward Henry. He pivoted sharply on powerful haunches, placing his entire body between the veteran and his own unit. A deep growl rumbled from his chest, not the sharp, obedient bark drilled into him through years of training, but something raw, offended, ancient. His lips curled just enough to reveal teeth gleaming in the pale light, not at the stranger on the bench. At the people who had fed him, trained him, trusted him with their lives. The nearest deputy froze mid-step, boots skidding on damp wood. "What the hell is this?" he breathed, disbelief cracking his professional composure. Titan's stance was unmistakable. "Advance another inch, and you answer to me." Henry stared down at the dog, bewildered, heart hammering against ribs that had survived too much already. "Easy, boy," he whispered, fingers trembling as they stroked the thick fur along Titan's spine. The shepherd leaned into the touch immediately, eyes never leaving the officers, muscles coiled not for attack but for defense. He wasn't confused. He wasn't malfunctioning. He was choosing. And in that single silent choice, he shattered every rule in the 9 handbook. The sergeant's face drained of color. This wasn't disobedience. This was recognition deeper than training, older than protocol. Henry's fingers brushed beneath Titan's tactical harness, tracing a ridge of scar tissue he shouldn't have known existed. His breath caught sharp and sudden. "This mark," he whispered, voice cracking like dry wood splitting in winter. "From the IED in Helmand Province. 3rd tour." The sergeant scoffed, though uncertainty flickered in her eyes. Impossible. Military canines are meticulously accounted for. Your dog died in action. Official record. But Henry wasn't listening anymore. Memory flooded him. The dust-choked alley in Kandahar, the deafening blast that swallowed sound and light, the weight of his partner Rex collapsing beside him as fire consumed the world. They pulled me out unconscious, he murmured, eyes distant with ghosts, told me Rex didn't make it. I carried that truth for 14 years like a stone in my chest. Titan whined softly, nudging Henry's hand back toward the scar with deliberate gentleness. The veteran's eyes widened, tears gathering at their corners. Rex, the shepherd's entire body stilled. Then, a single slow blink, recognition. Henry fumbled with the harness clasp with arthritic fingers, revealing a faded tattoo beneath, R734. His hand shook violently as he looked up, voice barely a whisper. That was his designation. Rex 734, my partner. The handler checked his tablet, scrolling frantically through transfer records. His face went slack with dawning horror. Ma'am, this dog was recovered 3 miles from the blast site, listed as unknown stray, possible military origin. Reassigned to our county unit 18 months ago after rehabilitation. Silence hung heavy over the pier. Then Titan did something no officer had ever witnessed. He lifted his right front paw and placed it gently, precisely, on Henry's knee, a trained PTSD comfort gesture for grounding panic attacks. Henry covered his mouth, shoulders shaking as tears spilled freely down weathered cheeks. I taught him that, he choked out through trembling lips. When the nightmares came in the barracks, he'd do that, just like this. No one else knew. The sergeant's authority dissolved completely in the face of what she was witnessing. She holstered her weapon slowly, the metallic click echoing in the sudden quiet like a prayer answered. Stand down, she ordered, her voice barely above a whisper yet carrying absolute conviction. All of you, now. Deputies exchanged stunned glances but obeyed instantly, stepping back as the truth settled over them like morning light burning away fog. Titan wasn't a missing asset. He was a soldier who had never stopped searching through years of reassignment, kennels, and unfamiliar handlers. Henry sank to his knees on the damp wood, arms wrapping around the dog's neck with a tenderness that spoke of lifetimes. Titan pressed his forehead against the veteran's chest, a gesture so intimate it felt sacred, as if sealing a promise made long ago in another country. They lied to me, Henry wept into the thick fur, voice breaking with 14 years of grief. All these years, I mourned you at the wall every anniversary. I thought I'd lost the last piece of me that mattered. Titan responded with a soft, deliberate lick to his cheek, slow, forgiving, final. The sergeant approached cautiously, her earlier rigidity replaced by something humbler, more human. He never bonded with any of us, she admitted quietly, watching the reunion unfold. Wouldn't sleep in his kennel. Every shift he'd stare toward the east, like he was waiting for a ghost to come home. She paused, voice thickening. He didn't run away from us. He ran back to you, through everything. Sunlight broke through the thinning fog, gilding the river in liquid gold. Henry remained on his knees, Titan's solid weight a comforting anchor against his chest. The dog's breathing slowed to a peaceful rhythm matching his own. No more tension, no more threat. Just two souls who had survived hell together, finally finding their way home through years of silence and separation. The sergeant knelt beside them, her voice gentle as river mist. He's yours, she said simply, without hesitation. Paperwork be damned. Some truths. Regulations can't touch. Henry looked up, tears tracing clean paths through the wrinkles on his face. Thank you, he whispered, but his eyes said more. They said, I thought I'd buried the last piece of my heart overseas, and Titan, as if understanding every unspoken word, rested his head fully against Henry's heart, where he had always belonged, where he had fought his way back to find some bond survive explosions, years, even lies told with good intentions. They don't fade. They just wait in the quiet places for the right moment to find their way home. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to remember that loyalty never really dies. It just waits. And remember, sometimes the most faithful hearts wear fur. And remember what humans sometimes forget. Thanks for watching. See you in the next S.